You're watching the Original Music Podcast with your hosts Raymond Hems and Rick Gathman.
All right, here we go. Episode 33 of the Original Music Podcast. Tonight we have Steven. 33. We have Steven Spencer with the FLH band out of Atlanta here, and my sidekick here, Rick Gathman. How you doing tonight, Steve?
Man, I'm good, Rick. Good to see you.
What's up, bud?
Hey, man. It's all good. It's all good.
Good.
And by the way, Ray, man, I before we even get started, we've had several opportunities to go out and ride together.
Yes.
I've been jammed up several times. I love your brother, and I hope you know that.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, we're going to make that happen because on top of the music, we've got other stuff going on.
Yes, we do.
I want you to know that we're gonna go out and do some riding and plan.
Yeah. Hopefully, actually, this Monday we're gonna try to get that in. Weather permitting. Actually, you still have your bike?
Mm-hmm.
Monday fun day.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like 26%. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Where are you located?
we'll get it done. And if we can't ride, we'll go out. I'll show up. You can see my new truck.
Yep. Well, we're going to play some music. If it's raining, we're going to play music all day.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So, Spence, you are in North Atlanta area, like Roswell, I guess.
Well, Alpharetta, yeah.
Alpharetta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we met. I don't know.
I think he was out of state.
Yeah. No, he's actually
Did
right
you
down the
just
road.
tell me that?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
No.
I was hearing things.
We met. I don't know. I'm assuming 7 years ago, maybe 8. I don't know.
Longer than that.
Yeah.
It's probably been 10. Yeah, we're actually having a couple of beers, and I was ordering some food, and I got pulled into the conversation.
Yep. I remember.
I do. You play guitar, and this guy plays guitar. You guys need to meet.
Yep.
That was 10 years ago, and then we started going to concerts, doing gigs together, and all kinds of crazy stuff in between. So
Yeah. And I remember where that was. That was at Miller Ale House.
yeah, it's been
And Eric was the one that introduced us.
yes.
Yeah. So it's a small world, you know. You just start up conversations with people, and you find out common interests. And but the FLH band, tell us a little bit about the band and what style of music you guys do and that type of thing.
So we're doing covers and originals, but our focus has really been on doing that funk version of something, and a more driving version of something. So even though we're playing, like, we'll do a Hendrix cover,
Mm-hmm.
it has our twist on it. So Voodoo Child is not your standard version of Voodoo Child. It's not Stevie Ray. It's not Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
It's really us incorporated.
Yeah.
What is that? Is it more rock?
It's rock with a funk beat.
Oh, okay.
So instead of playing like a like Voodoo Child, right? Instead of doing that,
Yeah.
that's in there, but it's like what that. There's no drum beat in the background.
Yeah.
It just stops with the guitar and is silent, and then the next line comes in, and then when it breaks in, it's like it's down. So instead of running, can I get technical here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so instead of running 120, we're running 115.
Right. It's got a slow groove to it. Right.
It's slow, and it's not droning. It, in the sense that you think, well, a drone is more like 108 beats a minute.
Yeah.
110. We're running right at 115, and it just kind of keeps that thing happening.
Yeah.
And so we do that with a lot of other stuff too. Come together.
Oh yeah.
So we're closer to Gary Clark than we are Paul McCartney. If that makes
Yeah,
sense,
That's cool.
yeah. I would
right?
say, I would say, and being that I've sat in with you guys, I would say it's definitely it's a power trio uh, with all the freedom in the world to just kind of be loose. And you guys have been together for how long? You guys been together?
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
15 years, I guess.
right. So
Yeah,
you kind of
So
know
you're
what the
nice
other
and
guys.
tight. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can read each other.
yeah, yeah.
and,
That's
and,
a
and I think that's so. When you talk about the band, I mean, we have a big set list.
yeah,
I think when you hit that mark, whatever it is, um, you kind of run a remote control.
yeah,
You've got your set list, and the songs come out, but whatever that song is, it could it could morph at any time. And I think one of the things I enjoy about playing with Jimmy and Kevin is that we allow ourselves to do that.
right.
So we could do a Voodoo Child or a Come Together or a number of different tunes,
Use me.
and at any given time, somebody might look at each other and go, "Here we go,"
Yeah,
and it just works.
yeah, yeah.
And you've been in the middle of that,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's a lot of fun.
and it is it's fun, but I think it defines our band.
Hmm.
When people come out to see us and people that have seen us for a while,
Yeah,
uh,
I would say
under,
that probably keeps it interesting for you
yeah,
guys individually. It as you're playing gives you that adrenaline rush.
yeah,
it does, and I think one of the things that, as musicians that we don't really look at a lot is that burnout point.
yeah,
It's like, oh, we play the same song over and over and over again, whether it's original
yeah,
or cover, and it's like, well, we've done it the same way and we've done it the same way. Um, you you set yourself up to burn out
sure.
musically, and the creative juice that comes into music is standing in front of an audience. I mean, that is a rush beyond anything. I don't care if it's 10 people or 10,000.
Yeah,
Agree.
The rush is still the same
Yep.
if you love what you do, right?
yeah,
Yep.
So with the FLH project, and it's still a project,
yeah,
even after all these years. Uh, the the goal has been, no matter what we've done last week, it's going to be fresh next week,
yeah,
because you just can't play the same thing the same way over and over again
yeah,
Mhm.
without exploding. And again, even if it's
That's totally true.
yeah.
whether or not it's an original or a cover, you just can't do it.
Well, I think the thing that's allowing you guys that freedom is not only that you've been together 15, 16 years, that's how you're able to do it, but you know, the you're not tethered to a click track or a backing track, any of those types of things. You guys just play it raw.
Yeah,
It might be 115 tonight. It might be 108 the next night. That kind of freedom is another way to not get burned out, right?
right. But now that you say that, when you think about it, um, I mean, I look at Kevin playing drums, and I've got one of his kits behind me. Uh, Kevin is a click track,
Yeah,
and if I count something off, it just runs that way.
yeah,
And our click track is the audience.
yeah. The vibe.
It's the audience,
Yeah,
and when you talk about playing raw music, and that's really what we do.
yeah,
It really is. We play music raw. There's yeah, we've rehearsed some stuff, but the majority of the stuff has been rehearsed live on stage. Some of it,
right.
Mhm.
Sure.
and it comes off raw. yeah, you bomb sometimes, and sometimes,
Yeah, yeah,
you know what I
As
mean?
long as you don't
Mhm.
run it off the rails
yeah,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
crash
So
and burn.
yeah, so I mean, yeah, well, yeah, well,
It's happened to
yeah.
all of
I'll
us.
say that after a certain time period, you don't crash and burn.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody knows
Yeah.
that.
You keep it
Everybody
going.
knows their parachute, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that and there's a recovery point.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And after 15 years, you look around, it's like, oh man, this is like this is crushing.
Yeah.
And
It
you look around,
happens even if you're using a click. It happens if you're listening to tracks. It happens
Yeah,
to the best of them,
yeah.
But you're right. There's, as long
but
as you're
you look
listening.
around,
Go ahead.
well,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, as long as you're listening and you know where, you hear what's coming up,
Yeah.
you can kind of flow into it
Who
without.
who do we have there? Who's this? Hey,
That's Z.
she that's a girl or boy?
That's a girl.
And she's gotten big, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
You
Well, I think the first pictures I sent, she was like this big.
yeah, in your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah,
She
she just
doesn't love you at all. You-
oh, she hates me.
Yeah.
She just turned a year old.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is she a Rottweiler? What is she?
Yeah, she's a rival.
Yeah, she's pretty.
That's
And
awesome.
and my grandson hangs on her like God won't have it. It's crazy.
You got to get a saddle.
My wife and I have 4 Huskies, 2 Pomeranians, and a Pomsky.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Do you live in Montana?
Yeah, I know.
Well, we do have 15 acres.
Yeah.
Need 15.
Now, but no, we've had 2 different houses that we lived in, 3 different houses that we lived in with these dogs. My stepdaughter, one of them, and my wife have a company. They sell Pomskys, which is a Husky mom and a Pomeranian dad. So
What?
Yeah, so they
you
breed
end-
them, yeah.
So you end up with a miniature Husky, and they're the coolest
Yeah.
dogs.
Usually with white eyes, they have the white eye.
You'll have bi-eyed, you'll have blue-eyed.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, yeah. I'll get it.
Yeah, you
Like-
never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, so we found her at a breeder. And I literally stuck my hand out into the crate, and
Yep.
she came up to me,
Yeah, they pick you. You don't pick them.
and she picked me. So
Yep.
we,
Yeah, that's
Sweet.
awesome. Dogs, animals in general are I've said it I think before. I think I like them more than a lot of people.
Oh, 100.
You know what I mean?
Come on,
You know,
it's a no-brainer.
you know what you're gonna get.
I
you
love my dogs way more than I love you.
know. Yeah, right. Clearly,
oh man,
clearly. But back to the music and what you were talking about kind of throwing things to the wind in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost like walking a tightrope, and it makes you play and be aware of what your teammates are doing on a almost a supernatural level, because nobody wants to mess up. Everybody starts playing, like on a higher level because everything's on the line of messing up. Um,
My problem is I play it safe.
yeah,
When I'm in here and we're rehearsing,
yeah,
I go nuts.
yeah.
But when we hit a stage,
It's
I just sometimes I just play it safe.
yeah,
And I don't like that about me, like when I'm playing. I
Yeah.
want to tear it up and just
well, something. I mean, Ray knows I'm a drummer also.
Mhm.
I mean, I've got all these guitars hanging back here. I started playing drums when I was 8.
Oh.
The freedom of playing music, honestly, I think we're fortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, we are truly fortunate because we can express something that we truly love and make other people happy while
Yeah.
we're doing it.
yeah,
Yep.
And as far as like holding back when you play, just don't. I mean, I can say that now.
Yeah.
I can say that now, but I mean, I don't. I play like it's my last day.
yeah.
That's great advice.
Just because there's a great freedom there. Just, I mean, and as far as the FLH band is concerned, the reason that we go out and play the way we play and the things that we play, it's because, hey man, go out there and play that song. Well, it's like, well, what's the song? Well, it just came in my head today, and we're playing it tonight.
Yeah.
We could do that, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're going to rehearse that? No.
Yeah.
And sometimes I will say this, and Jimmy and Kevin will say the same thing. I'll walk out and we'll be in the middle of a set, and we're running at like 3 or 4 songs, and I'll just something will pop in my head in the middle of the song that I'm playing, and I'll just drop it on it.
Yeah. Yeah, like Tennessee whiskey or something out of the blue, right?
I mean, I wish it was as simplistic as Tennessee whiskey. It might be fusion from Billy Cobham or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that rock thing that was like drop in there.
Yeah.
And I'll start fingering it towards my bass player.
Yeah. Here's
So
where
Jimmy,
we are. Yeah.
Jimmy will see. So here's where I'm going. Here we go.
Yeah.
And I'll do that. And when I turn back around, it's full on song.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did it to you. So
Yeah, you did. So I sat in on a New Year's Eve. I think it was New Year's Eve gig with you guys, and it literally was. All right, this one's in C sharp minor. It's like, okay.
Jump
This
in and
one's
hang
in
on.
G. This one's in A. Okay. And that was to me. That is some of the most fun stuff because I love to improvise and I love the challenge of that you have to be on your toes. You gotta be really honed in.
Right. Adrenaline.
Yeah. And where I was playing, I couldn't see the front of your guitar, so I'm not looking at your fretboard where you're at. You just tell me the key. I'm like, okay. I also know how to step back and stay out of the way.
right.
If I'm not sure, I'm gonna play light, settle in, let the progression go around. Then I know what to expect the next time. I'm not gonna train wreck the song.
Right. That's what you do. I mean, that's what you have to.
Right.
But I put Ray in the middle of that thing.
Yeah.
I put him in the middle of that, and that's what we try to do every night.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's to recreate that spontaneous explosion of sound and emotion, and kick that back out of the audience.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're playing guitar, it's like that feedback, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you get your guitar in your amp and doing that harmonic thing back and forth.
Yeah.
Right. You're doing the same thing with the audience, and we try to create that when we go out and play, and people have asked me, it's like, man, how many days a week do you guys rehearse? It's like,
The last show was last rehearsal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, you have to be a certain caliber of player to do that too.
Yeah.
It's not built in every musician to be able to pull that off.
Right.
I've got to tell you, and to your point, Jimmy and Kevin and I got together on a lark.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy is one of the most talented bass players I've ever played with, and I'm actually surprised that he's not on the road doing a national tour with some giant band, and he continues to play with me, which whatever. It's like, okay,
Yeah. Thank you, Jimmy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Kevin is, I mean, Kevin and I talk about drumming because that was my background at age 8.
Yeah.
And Kevin not far behind that.
Right.
And the thing is like, I look at Kevin and I say, I want this at maybe like a 110, 115, and I want a 4 on the floor. And he just sits down and plays it.
Right.
I'm stunned. I'm still stunned.
Yeah. Now we talked about Kevin. He builds drums as well. Have you ever heard of
Really?
Bearing Edge? Do you happen to have a drum close that you could just show us? He does a interesting thing. It's he hand makes everything, and oh yeah, if you can pull, I'd like to show the actual bearing edge of the drum because he makes them out of wood.
Oh, he's got a reinforcement ring.
I guess they're beautiful drums, and
You know, drums are made of wood, right?
well,
This makes sense.
the bearing edges usually aren't.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah,
So,
Mine
even
are.
the electric drum. Yeah.
Really?
Jeez, right?
so this is
Oh, that's beautiful.
one of the toms for my kit. I've got one up and two down and a bass drum, blah blah blah.
Wood hoop toms.
Yeah.
But everything's wood hooped.
How deep is the top? Can I see the
Lift
the
it
head?
up a little bit. Lift it up a little bit.
Okay, so it's not a huge lip. So for rim shotting, you've got a little deeper head than your standard hoop.
Exactly. So when you rim shot this, this is a tom, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Okay, so
When
the
you're-
snare's not like that?
No, so let me show you the snare. Can we do this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're doing it. Yeah, let's go.
That's a beautiful drum.
It
by
is.
the way.
I mean,
He
that's why I
makes-
said when I saw him, I was like, wow, these are artwork. You know?
Wow.
So
Damn.
so the snare,
Damn. That looks like that's a badass drum.
Brass,
Yeah.
brass lugs.
and it's a snare.
Okay.
It's probably heavier than the snare you're playing now.
Yeah, I'd say.
I mean, if you had an acoustic snare, this would probably weigh about maybe 2 to 3 pounds more than what you're playing right now. But if you look at the rim,
Yeah.
the rim shot this thing, you can.
And do you know what kind of wood that is? Is it like Babinga or something crazy?
This is Madagascar ebony,
Oh wow.
and that's the other reason why it's heavy.
Yeah.
There are literally no.
Man, it's such a pretty drum.
Yeah, my entire kit looks like this, and I told Kevin. Actually, I didn't tell him. I asked him.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got one kit left in me. Would you build it?
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Wow.
My
That's
kit was the
impressive.
first lacquered kit that he'd ever built. Most of this stuff is like a satin finish.
Yeah.
I love that. What's the kick size?
What's that?
What's your kick drum size?
My kick drum is a 20.
A 20?
Yeah,
Oh, a little smaller size.
A little punchy.
but I'll tell you what, it'll punch you in the back,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
right through the. I mean, it's
Wow, that's very impressive.
Now
And
those
they're
are
called Bearing Edge drums.
Yeah.
The company is
Yeah.
Bearing Edge.
Are those the lugs? Are they brass?
Yeah, it looks like it.
yes.
And does he mill those himself? Does he like turn that?
Machine all that.
Yeah. That's,
He actually has them turned,
yeah.
but all this stuff is proprietary.
Right.
Okay. Really? What's proprietary about it?
Every bit of it.
Meaning like
You're not going to tell me?
Even the throw.
yeah.
So I'm proprietary.
No secrets told, huh?
and no,
That's a
proprietary meaning like I don't know that you're gonna find brass lugs like that.
Right.
Actually, you won't.
Well, I play crush drums. This is the rehearsal kit, but
Yeah.
So proprietary. You're saying that they're unlike anything else that
Absolutely.
you can find. So
Without a
there's
doubt.
something that he's doing that's different than every other company.
I
You're not going to tell me.
I could make that kick sound bigger than anything you could buy.
All right,
And I'm not-
we'll talk later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to hear them.
I do
I'm not
too.
saying I'm not saying that because it's Kevin, because
Yeah.
Kevin's my brother.
No, I
I'm
can
not
tell.
saying-
I can see the craftsmanship just on the screen.
On the screen. Yeah.
It's obvious that that's a serious drum.
Here's stuff, and we could talk offline about.
I've been
that.
playing
Yeah.
drums for over 40 years. I know what I'm.
Yeah, looking
looking
at
at.
yeah. Now, and when we were talking about those, and I just wanted to bring them up because, you know, I love Kevin and I've seen his work, and I'm like, wow, it's artistry, you know. So, and it's not like he's mass producing these things; he's making them by hand,
and by order.
and by order. Yeah. So it's
So it's a boutique kit.
yeah. Now, I mean, we'll stay on drums for a minute. What's
Damn.
what's the brass that you what's your favorite cymbal set to use to match up with that kit?
I'm really weird. So I go between a zillion combinations and pasty at the same time.
Hmm.
And the reason I do that is because the way they forge their cymbals, they have a different note.
Yeah. Which one, Zildjian or Pasty?
Pasty,
Pasty.
it's tomato, but
Yeah.
Pasty, in my opinion, has more colors
Yeah.
than, for lack of a better word, than Zildjian or Sabian, which were brothers.
Yes, they were.
But they're a little more pricey, but they have a lot more to choose from.
Yeah.
I think
Oh my
Sabian and
God.
Zildjian are both kind of stepping up and trying to add more effects symbols, and with all the holy stuff that's been coming out and stacks and
I think I'm more of a traditionalist, so I'm a classically trained percussionist.
Uh-huh.
Blah blah.
That's
For
cool.
what?
Yeah.
But when you start talking about coloring symbols, if you run like a straight rack of custom A's, or I don't know, or just straight pasties, I mean, I think you limit yourself because each cymbal maker has their own signature sound. And for me, when I'm playing drums, I want to have a different color
Mm-hmm.
from each cymbal.
Yeah.
Might want to have a 16 screaming thin sound, and I can get that from pasty. I might want to have a heavy crash on the other side. I might want to have a dark ride with a big bell, so I can get that between each one. You know what I'm saying? From the edge of the cymbal all the way to the bell. I might want to have a big bell, so I might want to run a 20.
Right.
Oh, that's
You
a
know,
big
so
old symbol.
yes, yeah. So I mean, so it depends, but every cymbal company has their own signature sound.
Yeah. As a
And
player, why not mix and match?
yes,
Unless you're endorsed, right? Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Now, wait,
I'm a Sabian guy myself, but I totally agree. I would, if I, hit a cymbal and I like the way it sounds, I'll throw it on. I don't care if it's a
What
different
name's on
company.
it?
Or not.
Yeah.
yeah. So you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Totally.
I just I'm not married to any particular sound.
Right.
I have several different sets of hi hats.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, it's like, I mean, I can go from jazz to rock to whatever, depending upon the hi hat I'm using,
Right.
Yeah.
and I can marry my cymbals to that.
Yeah.
I can run 16s, I can run 18s in a 20 ride.
I've switched myself since I've been playing with Ray in this Giza project. I went all 19s. Every one of my crashes is a 19, and as well as I do, you can get two, we'll just say Sabian explosion crashes, medium,
Right.
and they're going to sound different.
Really?
You're never going to find two that sound the same.
Really?
No, never.
Huh.
If you do, it's a fluke, in my opinion. But I like the sound of a thinner cymbal, but I eat them because
Yeah.
I'm aggressive. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm a slugger at times, and
Right.
and it's a problem. It's problematic depending on where we're playing, and I
Yeah.
have in-ears, so I'm hitting even harder
Right.
because
Yeah.
I can't hear it.
Yeah.
And you learn that, I guess, as you're going with in-ears.
So my thing is, you know, Ray will tell you, I play a lot more guitar now than I do drums. But my opinion is, I will run a thin and a medium, or I might run a thin, medium, and a heavy, depending upon the setup, to get the sound that I want.
Yeah.
so I'm not like brutalizing my cymbals.
Right.
I mean, because let's face it, playing drums is a physical thing,
Yeah.
and it just is the most physical thing in the band, any band.
Yeah.
And you don't get a break,
No.
never.
No.
And I'm going to say this to piss off every guitar player on the planet.
And they would do it.
Hang on, no,
About time.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
because the best musician in the band is the drummer.
It is. You're right. Well, sound guy, then the drummer.
Yeah, yeah. The sound guy, then, but the best musician in the band is the drummer. And I say that because the drummer has to hear everything that's happening in the band, everything.
Yeah.
If you don't hear it, you're not cueing properly.
Yeah.
You're not.
We're the guy that's most likely to derail the whole thing.
Let me tell you something, man. If you don't have a personal metronome, your band sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just that brutal.
Yeah.
If you don't have a personal metronome, the band is going to suffer because of it.
Yeah.
Best musician in the band is the drummer.
You said the best?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said the most important.
No, he said the best.
No. I'm saying the best.
Yeah.
You cue every change in the band.
Yeah.
I listen for Ray.
Well,
I don't know about that. I don't know if I agree with that totally. I get your point.
I'm just saying it because I'm going to put it to you this way. Ray and I could go out there and shred our guts out.
Yeah.
And what's running the rhythm behind us?
Yeah. Yeah. If the drummer's not following along and bringing up the intensity,
totally.
I mean, it's all cohesive.
Right.
I look at the drums as kind of like the conductor.
It's just your meter.
Yeah, it's the meter. It's the time signature changes.
Intensity.
Yeah. And it's also the ability to drop out.
I can bring it up and just stop it if I want. Right.
You have no dynamics in a band if you don't have a drummer, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I make that point.
Yeah.
And I make it, and that's why I had the caveat before I said it.
Sure.
Because a lot of people are going to say, "Oh no, the drummer's the best musician." It's like, no, yes,
yeah,
he is. He's the conductor.
Yeah.
He runs everything. The dynamics, the drive.
Yeah.
The drive. Your bass drum pedal, by the way, can thump deep or thump shallow, and I know you do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You just take for granted that you do it.
Yeah, dynamically with the kick drum, and with the kick drum,
same thing with the snare drum. I'm either gonna hit the snare drum hard. I'm gonna cross stick it. I'm gonna do whatever. I mean, this guy has got more effects that he's sitting in right now that you can actually duplicate on the pedal.
Yeah, yeah.
And on top of that, he's the metronome of the band, and that's why I say what I say.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And I don't do it to upset people or.
No, I was just teasing.
No, but we want to upset people for sure. Because if you're that soft,
they can't take a joke. Come on.
If you're that soft, we don't want you.
and I don't say that to be controversial.
No,
it's just always been my.
No, I agree. But when you ask the drummer playing C sharp, it gets a little fishy right there. Or we're gonna do a 1 5 1 2. Our progression is going to be this. They're going to get a little lost.
Yeah, but if you ask him playing 5 6 3 2,
some of the rookies might.
Yeah,
and then he'll do that.
Yeah. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Come on.
Yeah, you do, and we have fun with it. We do things a little bit different because we actually use a metronome in all of our tracks in the Giza project. So I hear the metronome, the bass player hears the metronome, he's got the metronome, and it allows us to really, really sync those gears and really kind of, keep it together. But we went to a show recently. We went to see Dream Theater, and I should have called you, Spence. I don't know why I didn't. We went to go see Dream Theater, Animals as Leader, leaders and Devin Townsend.
Devin Townsend was the bomb.
Yeah,
Oh,
they were all very good, but Animals as leaders, their music is like for musicians, it's like somebody had the term
Mathematical.
musician porn
Oh,
because it is so complex and so
it's too complex.
it's when you listen to it and study it a few times and then you see it played live and they've
All
got
right, I'll give it a second chance.
yeah, they've got metronomes and they're listening to, but any space a note could go, it went.
Yeah, it's just a bit too busy for me. But
Yeah.
Dream Theater is getting the same way as well. But
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Are you a traditional when you play drums? I think I saw you play
Well,
side.
he's talking about cross sticking, so I'm assuming you play a traditional grip at times.
I actually do. I actually do both.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll play traditional depending upon what it is, and then I'll play open. One of the drummers that really influenced me heavily when I was in, I guess when I was in high school,
Mhm.
was Billy Cobham.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
badass.
And I went to a drum clinic, and this guy was going from the rim to the center dynamically.
Huh?
And when you're doing a double stroke, right, and they're running back in
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tightening it up.
towards the center, and it got louder dynamically.
Right.
I was so impressed with that. And then he did something else too about drumming dynamics. He took a plate of water and tapped the plate of water, and you could actually hear the splash. I'd never seen anybody come close to that. He was like the Bruce Lee of drumming when I saw him.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
What-
again,
What year was that approximately?
oh gosh.
And I don't want to tell your age or anything, but
I do. How old are you?
that's his favorite question.
I'm not going to tell you my age, but I will tell you that I was 17 when I saw him.
Okay. So
So we're the same age.
no,
No?
he's got
It
us
was-
by a bit. Yeah.
Really?
And
Yeah, he's my big
It
brother.
doesn't look like it.
I know.
It was prior to him joining the Mahavishnu Orchestra.
Right. Now,
So now I'm giving you away the years.
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, you got to do reverse math, but you can get there, right?
Exactly.
So you said you started playing
Reverse
drums
math.
at 8. Was that your first foray into music? Is that the right word?
I don't know what
For-
Furet is.
Foray.
I don't drink those.
Yeah, you drink LaCroix, lemon or
LaCroix.
lime.
I'm a LaCroix guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Foray, whatever.
Foray. Yeah, was that your first experience getting into music?
It was. I was that kid in grade school with the number 2 pencils.
Yeah.
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 Me too.
Yeah, and so yeah, I was that guy, and
Did you ever make a drum out of a Pringle can?
The lid, the Pringle lid.
That was my first octobans.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, Octobon. Yeah.
that was after my time.
Yeah.
But let's just say there wasn't a piece of furniture in my house that didn't have a drumstick print on it.
Thanks.
Yeah. Now, were your
Yeah.
parents musicians at all? Anybody in the family?
My mother played piano.
Okay.
Her mother played piano.
Right.
My father's mother played piano, and his brother was Aaron Spencer. No one's ever heard of the guy. Will never be heard of. He's 93 and still on the planet.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
This guy never took a lesson in his life.
Right.
Shows up at my house when I'm a kid during the Motown era.
Oh yeah.
Walks up to my mother's piano, goes, "Hey Spence, have you heard this?" And starts laying down Marvin Gaye.
Right.
So
by
it's
year.
like, so I said, well, where did you hear this? On the radio here. It would go from his ear to his hands.
Yeah.
So, so I had some pretty heavy musical influences growing up,
Yeah.
and man, I tell you what, music is not the easiest business
Language. Yeah.
But I tell you what,
business-wise.
Yeah. Business wise.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
But personally, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
It's in us. It's because it's built in us.
Like you said with the dog, it
picked
picks us.
Yeah.
You know, it picks us, and then you can't shake it.
We can't help it. Right. Yeah. Can't get rid. It's like a bad habit.
It's the monkey on her back. It's the gas monkey.
It's the gas monkey.
Gas monkey on your back. So when you were that young, what were some of the things that were playing on the radio or the record players at around the house? What's your first like music that you remember hearing, other than your mom playing probably gospel hymns and that kind of stuff, I would assume. And also you were from Cincinnati?
North of Cincinnati. Like
Dayton?
Like 120 miles north of Cincinnati.
Oh, further than Dayton.
Yeah, I'm talking Lake Erie.
Oh, wow. I'm from Cincinnati, so that's where I was born.
15 miles from you're from Cincinnati, so you know where Sandusky is?
Say it again?
Sandusky, Ohio?
I don't.
Well, if you drive past Sandusky, you hit the water.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
So you're right at the top. Yeah, I grew up near like Kings Island.
Okay, so my first summer job was Cedar Point.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Anybody have I'm raising my hand. Anybody have a fear of roller coasters after seeing that footage?
No, they just shake and rattle me too much these days. I can't ride them anymore.
The stress crack?
Yeah,
I broke my back in 1998.
Yeah.
I can't ride them anymore.
Yeah, there's no more.
They shake the hell out of me.
Did you see that footage? The roller coaster coming around.
And the brace goes.
It's spreading apart 5 inches,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, we'll put some tape on it."
Somebody did a thing where they.
Yeah.
Inches at 500 feet's a long way down.
Yeah, those days are over for me. On that.
Me too.
But back to what's your first remembrance of what you heard playing around the house when you were growing up?
So my mother played a lot of jazz.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as the best musicians.
I mean, Dave Brubeck, Andre Previn.
Yep.
I mean the classics. So I grew up listening to that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as the '60s evolved.
Yeah.
And not so much my father, rather. My mother's tastes evolved with it. So at one point, I'm listening to, like, oh my gosh, talk about a musical schizophrenic.
Yeah.
I was listening to Brubeck, Andre Previn, Motown, and country and western, and all that stuff was evolving all at the same time.
Yeah.
In the mid '60s, late '60s, it was all evolving. So you could listen to any kind of music that you wanted to suit your taste, basically.
Sure.
And for me, it was like sucking it all in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows up in my guitar playing. I mean, I've stole from the Beatles, Hendrix, Clapton, good God, Wes Montgomery.
Yeah. Octaves.
Like all the way back to that era.
Yeah.
And all that stuff was playing in my house when I was growing up.
Now, this is my other favorite question to ask is when you first, had money or able to, hey, Mom, what was your first record that you ever purchased? Like whether with your own money or you asked your parents, hey, I'd really like this record. What was it? What was that?
Do you? What he's asking is, how did you let your Columbia House go to?
No, he was before Columbia House.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Yes. Yeah. I'm way before Columbia House.
Yeah.
Disraeli Gears.
Oh, okay. All right, Cream. So your first record do you still have it?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
I had it until my mother's basement flooded, and
Ah,
I lost a lot of stuff. I can't tell you what I lost without making this thing a downer.
Right,
let's
right.
not go there.
Yeah, yeah. I just unfortunately had the experience of cleaning out my parents' house that they were in for 40 years, and we've been talking about that question on the podcast on different episodes, and I actually found said records. I got my first record was either Kiss Alive or Star Wars. I think it was Star
Yeah.
Wars soundtrack, and
That's
it's
cool.
I have it in the other room there. Um, and
How much you want for it?
yeah, I don't sell stuff, dude.
I have my original Star Wars figures
Yeah.
in
And-
their case,
yeah.
and they're all mint.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My
But-
oldest sister, before she passed, God rest her soul, saved them for me.
That's
I had
awesome.
an original Jimi Hendrix Experience album.
Oh, wow.
Nice. From the era.
The real thing.
Yeah. And not the 65 version, the 64.
Wow. Which record is that? Which one? The Experience?
Experience, yeah.
Okay. And what was on that record? Was that like Hey Joe and
Hey Joe, are you experienced?
Watchtower,
Watchtower probably?
Yeah, yeah.
Red.
And Hendrix was a big he was a big fan of oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank now.
Well, he did all of the Chitlin Circus stuff.
Let me ask you this. Being from Ohio, have you ever heard of the Kelly Ritchie Band?
I'm sorry, say again.
The Kelly Ritchie Band? She's a blues
Yeah, you left Chicago.
blues rock trio that I used to tour with. And they call her Stevie Ray Vaughan in a female body because she plays behind her head. She just,
Yeah, no, I'm not.
she tears it up.
Yeah, you left Ohio what year? You left.
Oh, you've been gone a while.
Yeah, he's been gone since '78 or something, right?
Oh,
Actually,
okay. Yeah, I toured with her in like 2000.
Yeah,
I left Ohio in the early '80s.
yeah. And there was a stint there in Ohio. Were you not? I believe I have seen a state trooper picture, and I believe. Yeah, I believe I have the state. I think I might have screenshot it and have it on my phone for future use.
A
You were supposed
mugshot?
to talk.
Say again?
You were supposed to talk about that.
Yeah, I know. What was that experience like? I mean, that had to be, we go off topic a little bit, but that had to be a wild experience.
So the picture that I sent you,
Yeah.
is when I got my first squad car, my personal squad car to take home back and forth. And that picture was with my first original squad car.
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. And after that picture was taken, a blizzard hit. And I was literally on the road for like 14 days, couldn't go home.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
wow.
And it was like the first time they ever shut down the Ohio Turnpike. It was amazing. But I was, you're young enough to do that stuff, and
Yeah, you deal with it, right?
Are you still an officer?
I'm associated. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Well, I'll thank you for your service.
absolutely.
Appreciate it.
It's
my-
greatly appreciated on my end.
My thought, like my stepdad was a trucker, and I often
Man, don't be like that.
I often thought about the amount of hours behind a wheel, seeing the country go by. I didn't hear you. Seeing the countryside go by and seeing
Why'd
new
you
things,
acknowledge me?
and seeing new things because I'm in the middle of an awesome point. But
I love fucking with Ray.
yeah, he does. But when you're a state trooper, especially, and you're doing the turnpike work and that kind of stuff, do they issue you like a certain mileage in between exits that you monitor? How does that even work as far as how do you go
How
on
do we look
patrol?
out for you? Is what he's asking.
Yeah, I want to know how to avoid you guys.
Well, it's too late because back in my days,
Is that
uh, my
proprietary?
district my district was like 60 miles long.
Oh, okay. So you have a district where they
Yeah,
send you
Oh,
out.
that's pretty big. I mean, that's pretty
yeah. And there's a
big
bunch of
area.
us too, so you can't get you couldn't get past us. So
Yeah. And they did were they doing like air air support
Support.
or control?
air support. I mean, the whole bit.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at um, when you look at law enforcement, I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to drop it um, because I'm still engaged.
Yeah, sure.
Your license plate can be read from a satellite,
Right. These days. Yeah.
Yeah.
and if someone wants you bad enough,
Yeah.
agency, it, you're pretty much on your own.
Yeah.
You can't run from it.
Yeah. On top of that, all the new vehicles now have satellite uplinks to
Yeah,
the
right.
to the radio. Well,
Yeah.
there's a downlink too, so they
When
know
you,
who
when
you
you turn
are.
on XM radio,
Yeah.
you turn on XM radio, the minute you turn your phone on.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, this is a tracking device beyond all tracking
Exactly.
devices.
Yep.
And actually, right now, we are being surveilled
Sure.
in a minor sense.
I don't like it.
I like playing music though.
Until
Yeah.
something
And
happens.
because of the time spent as a youth exploring those types of things, I can work on a carburetor on my ATV or those types of things because of the time spent as my youth learning stuff. So the
Right.
music thing was
100%.
huge for me.
Yep.
Had
Yeah,
one
man.
one
Like,
channel of TV. I'm not going to watch the same show. Let's go and jam out.
jump
By
our
the way,
bikes. Let's build a
jamming
ramp.
out. Speaking of jamming out, hang on. Let me grab this thing. I was telling you about this guitar earlier.
Yeah, let's see it. I want to see this.
Is
Is
the telly?
yeah, this is a smelly telly gold top.
Yeah.
So this, I don't have it plugged in anything.
Oh, that's bad.
Let me see this. Can you hold it horizontal? The other way,
Is it,
vertical.
was it contoured?
Yeah, I want to see the front of the body. Is it
Cut?
Is it arch top?
Yeah,
It
is.
looks arch top.
It is.
Dude,
it's not.
It's
It's
not.
not.
It's not arch. Not arch at all. It's sculpted.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So see the sculpt on the back.
Yeah. So it's neck through the body.
Neck
Okay, so
through.
what's the difference between sculpted and arched? Like a Les Paul would be arched?
Arch top is semi-hollow body and it's arched.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So this sculpted, so it fits over my belly, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's a beautiful guitar.
It
So
is.
you sit there, but this thing was the one I was telling you about.
Yeah. String through the body. String through on the back.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Man, that's awesome.
Neck
dude.
through?
And that's a USA Telecaster. Is it a special or what's the name of it? Is it got a name of some
Yeah,
sort?
I've never seen one like that.
It's just a Telecaster, and the coil tap.
Yeah. Push pull. Yeah. Yeah. And so my question when we were talking on the phone, and I didn't say it on the phone, was when you coil tap it, is it only the bridge pickup that's getting split, or can you do it with the neck also? And are you sure?
It's both, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
At the same time?
I'd have to play it to know.
It's the bottom.
Okay,
Ah.
so it's the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, typically most of the time I played a guitar like that with a split, it would be the bridge.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as action,
Yeah, yeah. Now, Spence, what are your string gauges that you like to play? You're a 10 guy, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm a 10-9 guy. It depends on the guitar. This is a 9.
Okay, you got
It's
nines
9 to
on that?
42, 10 to 46.
I think
Um,
so.
Not
Well,
bad for a
Where did
drummer.
you go? Not bad
I
for a
worked in a
drummer.
music store for 12 years.
so I will go. I will go 9 to a heavy bottom. Some of my guitars have 52s on the bottom.
Yeah, so you do the beefy, heavy bottom,
Heavy bottom,
skinny
skinny top,
tops,
heavy bottom. Yeah.
the
Yes.
orange pack. So you're an Ernie Ball guy.
Yep.
Either Ernie Ball or literally,
D'Addario.
yeah, I love the Dare.
Yeah.
But it depends on the guitar. So I've got a D'Angelico
Yeah, that's a beautiful guitar.
that I run mediums on. So instead of buying a 335, I have the D'Angelico. And the longer I play it, the better it sounds.
Yeah, sure. The longer you have it, it will.
Mm-hmm.
Are
Yeah,
those
I mean,
are those DiMarzio pickups? What's it say on those pickups?
Seymour
This-
Duncan.
this is DiMarzio.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I dropped.
And my D'Angelico is.
Can I see the headstock before you put it away?
Yeah.
On the front.
He's almost there.
Yeah. Hold it flatter. I want to see. It just says Fender on it. It doesn't even say.
It doesn't say Telecaster?
Telecaster on it. Huh,
Does it
awesome,
say
dude.
Telecaster on the headstock?
No, it just says Fender on the headstock.
Just says Fender.
That's crazy, man.
And this thing is
That's
this
awesome.
thing is factory is factory.
Yeah.
That's an awesome guitar.
And it screams. I mean, it's just it's a beautiful guitar as far as tone. Um, I have a Fender American Player.
Mhm.
I would get rid of that before I'd ever get rid of this guitar.
Right. It's hard to get rid of any guitar, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I got.
Ask Ray.
Yeah. I think I don't even know what I'm at now. 60 or something crazy guitars.
It's like a curse, man.
I got to start getting rid of some.
Is that an 8-string guitar down
Yeah, it is. I actually wrote "Shout It." Hope Sanker shouted on that guitar.
there? Well, why don't you write some Giza stuff on that bad boy? Let's do some balls and chunk.
Yeah, it is balls and chunk. All right, because we have a bass player.
Okay.
So my D'Angelico, get a second?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see it.
So the band we saw the other night,
Yeah,
the Animal Band,
Yeah.
well, it was two. There was no bass player.
no bass
They
player.
both played 8-string guitars.
Yeah, and so, and they trade off on who's playing bass.
Yeah, it was
Like,
cool.
Yeah, it's
It
unreal.
was cool for sure. The drummer was badass.
So that's the D'Angelico. Let's see the headstock. They always have the best headstocks. Yeah, it's got a split top. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's
like
fancy.
a mustache.
Yeah,
Almost
cool.
reminds me of the J200 Gibson
Yeah.
tailpiece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love guitars.
Yeah, I mean it's just I mean it's a beautiful guitar. This is heavier than my SG.
I'm sure. Yeah. Wow.
It's actually heavier than my Strat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean I love this guitar as far as a flat, fast neck. Again, neck through.
Yeah. No, that's that's about the width of a 335, or maybe a little bit wider.
It's a 335.
Yeah.
It's basically a 335. Instead of Kalamazoo, it's New York.
Right.
But, yeah, just I mean a great guitar. And I actually played a couple of 335s and bought this instead.
Right. Yeah. The Gibson stuff is, it's so expensive that there's so many other choices out there that are equally as good, that are, a little more price conscious.
Well, everybody wants that name. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to wear a polo.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
have the Marshall.
Yep.
Marshall Gibson combo.
Yeah.
I mean, Ray, I've got Fender PV.
What PV do you have?
Yeah. What PV do you have?
Oh, the classic.
Oh, the amp. Yeah. The classic 30.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I just and I run them in stereo.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, they're great guitars and a lot of versatility. And as far as tone, if you set your amps up properly, you can run two classic 30s and they sound big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They say,
I love talking to people that don't hate Peavey. I was endorsed by them in 2000
Yeah.
when they had their Radio Bridge 1000 drums. Do you remember those?
oh yeah,
They had the crazy round ring or
Yeah,
something.
it was called a radial bridge. So it was an eighth of an inch shell with two pieces of wood glued on the top and the bottom. It made it really tight. You could tune those drums like a rototom. Talk about a bearing edge. It was like
Yeah.
a pinhead.
Wow.
yeah.
I'd put them up against any drum workshop kit, any boutique kit.
Can you find them anymore?
Yeah, but I have one at my house. And I didn't keep the whole kit, but yeah, I had two. Actually, I had three of the kits, and they're just
And
they're the best sounding drums live. Period.
The kit that I always wanted to have and I never bought one was a Vistalite.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing now.
Yeah.
That's I have a Crush, not the Ludwig Vistalites, but I have Crush acrylic.
The acrylics. Yeah.
I'm telling you that Ludwig Vistalite kit, I don't know what the heck was going on with that thing back in the day. That bass drum would
yeah.
You could feel it hit your chest.
Yeah. Mine's like that.
Now,
it's thunder.
Is your kit set up and ready to play?
Yeah. Oh,
Dude,
yeah, I've got St. Ever rehearsal Monday.
We may have to take you over to play that kit. Spence.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, I'm not kidding you. But I never bought a Vistalite kit. I played one. Oh gosh, and no one that ever lived in this area will even know what I'm talking about. I was at Lombardi's Music Studio.
Yeah,
Lombardi's.
And I played a Vistalite kit, and I was like madly in love with the thing. I just couldn't afford it. I was a kid. I was in school. I didn't have any money. And I was still playing my Slingerland kit back in those days. But the Vistalite just like kind of changed my world, man.
Was Bonham?
John Bonham is what made him. He's who made him famous. Yeah.
Yeah. And did he use that on all the Zeppelin stuff?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The orange kit, that was his go-to. I think he had a clear kit.
Yeah. Wow. Well, nobody can argue with that.
May know better. I mean, as far as I've ever seen, like his famous kit was the orange Vistalite.
Yeah.
One up, two down, just like Spence.
He also had the Tiger Stripe Ludwig kit also.
Oh, okay.
Was that wood?
Yeah.
Well, the Ring Star kit, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But he had one of those as well. But he played that like big marching band size bass drum.
Yeah. Yeah. Big 24 inch, I think. Yeah.
24?
I think it was 24. It might be 26.
Yeah, something massive.
Yeah.
But you know who else is playing the orange acrylic Vistalite? Zoso, the ultimate Led Zeppelin tribute band.
As well they should.
And
hey, remember
Bevan plays them.
Who?
Bevan Davies is the drummer in that band, and
okay.
And they do a good job of using the instruments that were used during Zeppelin and all that kind of stuff.
The guitar player's really good.
Yeah, it's a great band. The tribute bands, and we'll segue to the tribute
Here
bands.
we go.
The tribute bands, for the most part, do a really good job. I could really talk about probably one who did the best job last night was the Foreigner band that played at the amphitheater. Yeah. What's it called now? Ameris?
Yeah.
Ameris Amphitheater.
Yeah.
Foreigner show.
Loverboy.
Sounded great. They had one member left in that band.
Not last night. Mick steps in halfway through, like I read.
Who was sitting in the chair?
Towards the end, that was Jeff Pilson from Dokken.
Sitting?
Yeah.
Wow.
They had to roll him out in the VIP on a wheelchair.
Wow. So even the original old school bands don't even have enough original members. Autograph being one of them now.
Autograph has 0 original members.
So even the bands that are billing themselves as the original band are tribute bands, and hey, we haven't had this.
Although, with that said, Foreigner in the current lineup is the best Foreigner's ever sounded.
I will agree. I saw
Kelly, the singer.
Yeah. Now, where's he from? Because
I don't know.
He sounded.
He's fucking amazing.
Yeah. The range of his voice and the tonality of his voice was just right there at Lou Graham's thing. But
when you think about these bands that are being tributed, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, all these guys are in their mid to late 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know of many guys that have a voice left at that age.
Well, those are the, what do they call them? The legacy bands. Yeah.
Yeah. The legacy bands are the older bands.
But the local tribute bands, I mean, let's delve into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different animal.
Spence, who's your favorite local tribute band? That's a trick question, probably.
Crickets.
Yeah, crickets.
The bands that are stealing our gigs.
Yeah.
I've just
with all tracks.
I've never been a tribute band guy.
Yeah,
you know that. I mean, I like my own stuff, movement, my own feel. I like what FLH brings as far as a cover band with some originals.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reason I like that is because you still have this creative ebb and flow that happens. And when you're a tribute band, then you're expected to play
one trick pony.
Right.
Yeah, I'm expected to play this. I'm expected to play that.
Yeah.
And I still really heavily enjoy the band crowd interaction without expectation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean,
total sense.
I say without expectation. I mean, there's no expectation. Here's the band. The band's good or the band sucks.
Right. Yeah.
And here's what they have to offer.
Yeah.
And if I cover songs, which we do, we cover a lot of songs.
Sure.
But if you cover a song, then you know when that song comes out, it's going to have a different spin on the stuff that played on the radio.
Yeah.
If you want to hear the radio, turn it on.
Yeah.
If you want to see a live band, then this is live.
Yeah. Well, and there's another aspect I just thought of as we're talking about this. A band like FLH will go out and play whatever covers they want to create a vibe and a feel, and it's typically going to be a 10 to 2 type of gig where you're playing 3 hours of music, and you could hear anything from we're an American band to a Bob Seger tune. Whereas a tribute band has created this niche of a 75 to maybe 90 minutes of one artist. That's it. So they actually have kind of created a niche of you no longer have to do the 10 to 2. Right? You can just go in there and play Safety Dance 19 times.
Right. It's a concert.
Yeah.
Type.
It's a show. It's a show instead of a night of gigs.
Yeah.
So in one aspect, they have done something for us.
What's that? Which
is creating a show. All right, we're going to see a show. You're not going. If you're going to a bar and you're playing 9 to 1 or 10 to 2. You're essentially background music for probably 3 phases of people coming in, getting food and leaving, coming in, getting food and leaving.
You think so?
As opposed to, here we are, we're going to do a 90-minute presentation. Here's our show. We have an opening act, kind of like the old school way of you're going to a concert, you've got the headliner and an opener. There's your night of music. So they have, I think, helped the music scene in that way.
Okay. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but it's a good point.
Because, I'll never play a 9 to 1, 10 to 2 type gig again because
I think, well, then their tickets are so expensive is the only reason I disagree with you a little bit because,
that's because they're a show, right?
right. But so people aren't coming in and it's not necessarily background music. They're going to see who they're going to see.
Again, that's where they helped us, is like creating an event for a show as opposed to a night of music at a sports bar.
Yeah.
So I think all bands, original bands should put together a show like that where you have your 30-minute set if you're opening for somebody, 45 if you're lucky, but then you've got your 75 or your 90, which is a whole night, and you've organized it to where you've got a banging opener, and then another up tempo song, and then boom, a ballad or something chill, that kind of thing. You have to look at your set and design your set intensity wise and everything like a show, which is what Spencer was saying, that he'll read the crowd and go, okay, boom, in the middle of this song, I know what we're going to play next because I'm reading the crowd.
Yeah. Well, that's a seasoned musician. That's leading the band.
But okay, so I'm going to throw another cycle at you.
Curveball.
So, yeah, that's called leading the band.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in the middle of a song. I've looked at Jimmy and just looked at him like, we're in the middle of something. I've got a transition in my head. Where are we going to go? Without saying a word, I'll look at him, and all of a sudden, he'll thump me into a different key change. I know exactly what that next song is.
Right. He's steering you.
And so, having said that, I think what kills me about cover bands is the lack of spontaneity.
Yeah.
And I think what makes a really good show and a good musical experience is that spontaneity. It's that spontaneous, I'm into this thing, and I'm going from Peter Frampton to whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and the next thing I'm going bum bum bum, and I'm playing Steve Miller.
Yeah.
I've gone from Frampton to Miller.
Yeah.
In the same breath, and maybe even the same musical phrase.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we rob ourselves of the knowledge of the musical knowledge that we have if we don't do that. It's like, okay, you show up and do a show, and that's great. That's great. Honestly, I'm not knocking it, because some guys go out and do great shows, and I'm not going to knock that. But to justify my existence, I'll put it that way.
Right. Right.
In that basis, right? That spontaneity that you get from going from one song to the next, to the next, to the next. I don't think it can be beat.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too on that note is, if you have a band and in between songs, any one of your members are open tuning out loud, or wearing jean shorts on stage.
Mm-hmm. They just cut the freaking grass.
Yeah. You might need to reevaluate and go see some other bands that might be performing at higher levels to see what to do and what not to do.
All right. I'm curious, Spencer, you play guitar and drums. You started out on drums, right?
Man, age 8, I mean, I couldn't keep my hands still.
So what is your, is there a, how do I ask the question? Is there a, not prefer is the wrong word. Where's your passion? It has to lean to one or the other, right?
Well, I've been playing guitars pretty heavily.
If you had to pick one, gun to your head, you had to pick one.
Oh, in my head, if I had to pick one?
Yeah.
I would play drums.
Okay,
Mm.
as well you should.
And, and, and
I
Because guitar
object.
players need
I
heroes
object.
too.
I think that was leading the witness. That was leading the witness for sure.
no, Ray's only saying that is because we've jammed together, and I
Yeah.
scare it when I play guitar.
Exactly. Exactly. For sure. No, I mean you are you're a great guitar player and a great drummer.
Well,
That's awesome, man.
So it'd be hard for
I
me
can
to
play
pick.
an E, G, and a C,
Yeah.
and an a D
Ray,
too.
Ray,
A D.
Ray, I didn't say that disrespectfully, and I didn't, man. I was just,
Yeah. No,
Screw
no.
him.
Hey,
I was just goofing on you.
I just like being in the room with players that love to play, are willing to play different instruments in the room. Like I'll have just as much fun sitting behind the Hammond over there as I do playing guitar. A lot of times I'll sit over there when I have jam sessions and I suck at it,
Yeah,
but
he'll stink up the room any way he can.
yeah, I suck
Well,
at it, but I can follow.
and when you ask me, what my first love is, my first love is always going to be drums.
Yeah.
And I started up playing drums. It's it's deeply ingrained in me, and my my picking style even includes
Percussive.
Yeah, rhythm.
yeah,
Yep.
percussive thing, man. I can't get away from it. And then when I'm playing guitar, I actually think about going from playing like a triplet to a four to a 16th, right?
Right.
Physically,
You're a Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
because it in the same phrase. Let's say you're playing in 2/4 or 4 or just straight 4.
Yeah.
Let's just go straight 4, just basic math. Because drumming is math, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Subdivisions.
So drumming is math.
In the someone else.
Yes. So I'm playing. If I'm playing a line of 4, I know I can go to 2, I can go to 6, and I can go to 8 within the phrase.
Yeah.
And I learned how to do that playing drums.
Leaving the song and coming back on time.
Yes, and
Yep.
I just transferred it to guitar playing.
That's cool.
And so yeah, I mean I'm always going to be that guy that says, yeah, my heart belongs to drums. Even though I'm playing guitar now, it gives me a vocal advantage playing guitar.
Yeah, and you sing too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
Wow, man,
yeah.
talented individual.
So it gives me a vocal advantage playing guitar, and that was really my main reasoning behind switching. And I've never abandoned drums. I will, like I said, when I asked Kevin to build my last drum kit, I was serious when I said that's my last drum kit.
Right. Yeah.
So what's the price point on those drums, if you don't mind me asking?
I do mind.
Okay, then.
Is-
We'll move on.
I think that's a per job
Is that
basis.
the part of the proprietary?
Yeah.
It is. I mean, it is proprietary.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm just busting your chops.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them afterwards.
Yeah, off the
yeah,
air.
I mean, honestly, I mean,
I'm very interested. They're beautiful.
I couldn't say, but it's when I said my last set of drums, it's like the last work of art you're ever going to play on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then when I say work of art, I mean you've seen them.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
It's a work of art. They're beautiful drums, and they sound as good as they look. And that's
Sure.
the
Now that's not a kit that you would take out to
Hell yeah.
a gig, right?
yeah.
100%.
Wow.
That's my kid.
Hit him as
Okay.
hard as you can.
Yeah, I don't take my custom shop 57 Les
Because you're a
Paul.
wuss.
I used to, but why take a extreme, inexpensive piece of equipment? It's the meme.
Well, what are you saving it for?
I mean,
Retirement?
No, recording. Use it recording. Use it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Keep it in a nice environment.
Yeah.
Not a smoke-filled chicken wing joint.
Well, we don't.
I won't take mine to a chicken wing joint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the smoky bars.
Yeah.
Yay or
No,
nay?
no smoke.
Done with those two.
Right.
Yeah.
Smoke, man. I'm sorry if you're smoking at a bar and I'm playing drums. I'm not playing drums there.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
You know, uh, I've got a 4-piece and a 5-piece configuration with that kid, and I don't care where it is.
Yeah.
That thing's never seen smoke.
Right. And is that's a thing people don't realize is like when we bring our gear home, let alone bringing ourselves home and we stink like cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
Right.
Your equipment will never lose the smell inside of it.
No,
Like I have
stinks.
amps from back in the day that I could go out into the storage and pull them out and I'm like,
You can
Smells
smell
like
what you had
cigarette.
that night.
still smell like cigarettes.
Yeah.
And it's been
Yeah, smoke's a nasty thing for sure. It ingrains into your stuff.
yeah.
So I'm going to monetize this, and I hope bartenders or bar owners rather
Yeah.
are listening to this when I monetize what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
So we bring a guitar out there, or set of drums, PA system, depending upon the size of the place. Might bring our own PA. And then some bar owner says, I'm going to pay you $400 to come out and play.
Yeah.
Okay. $400 doesn't cover an amp.
Right.
Doesn't cover your bass drum, doesn't cover your snare, doesn't cover one of your cymbals.
Doesn't cover your ride cymbal for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So they're saying that the entire band, with the entirety of its equipment, is only worth $400. And I think it's like, no, I think you're making a big mistake, because now you're asking me to entertain you, but you've insulted me before I even showed up.
Yeah.
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 And
Oh, don't get me going.
Yeah. Well, it's like the meme that says musician brings $5,000 worth of gear and a $500 car to make $100.
No, and a $30,000 car.
Yeah. Well, that was mine. The other night, I actually calculated. I took $4,200 worth of guitar equipment. I took $4,200 worth of guitar gear in a $50,000 car, and we made zero money. we literally owed our hamburger and beer tab.
Did your manager take it all?
At the end of it? No, yeah, my label took it off.
Didn't even break even.
Yeah, no, I was
Hell no.
In order to go out and play a show, you know, I already accept that I'm going in the hole, and that's and my second line after that was, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer to play in this game anymore.
Yeah.
Ah, you're
I mean, I told a club owner in Marietta that same analogy, because they were insulted
Yeah.
that I wouldn't bring my band out for $300.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I can pay for gas.
Yeah.
The backdrop that you saw earlier
Yeah.
was one wall of my guitars.
Yeah.
As you know,
Right.
but another wall of guitars, and there's not, that's not even the basement. So my investment as a musician and working on my craft, and I'm not going to be Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or any of that stuff ever in my lifetime.
Right.
But my investment in my craft, playing drums, guitars, keys, bass, all that stuff, is a much higher value than some of these club owners are willing to pay. And as long as there are groups of guys out there doing that, they're selling themselves short. They need to put their foot down.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about going on strike and not playing in bars and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about any of that stuff. I'm just talking about understand the value of what you do,
Yeah.
and understand the value of the art
Yeah.
that you have.
Yeah. And it comes down to also like that gig that you're talking about for $300 that they want you to play. And that's one of those
Somebody set that standard is the problem.
10 to 2. That's one of those 4 hour. So you got
there's bands that I've been in
yeah.
that say, okay, I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Fucking assholes. Now we don't get to play at all.
Right.
Because we put our foot down, which we have.
Yeah. Well,
You spent more money on your drumsticks than that.
No doubt.
yeah. Yeah.
No doubt.
Well,
You know,
it's remember the we'll let you play for exposure.
It's yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah.
We're gonna let you play.
And
for
then
the
next time
exposure.
around, we'll up the we'll pay you more next time.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
the old we'll pay you more next time type thing.
Like we're
Last time
auditioning. 54 years old and I got a fucking audition? Are you joking me?
Yeah, I know.
Last time I
You've
saw
seen our
Exposure-
videos.
Last time I saw Exposure, they went to jail
Yeah, right. Yeah.
for exposure. So I was like, I'm gonna.
Yeah. Well, it's a crazy state of the industry,
It's
especially
maddening.
on the local level, especially for an original band, especially for anybody that's not in the Meatloaf tribute band,
Yep.
that type of thing. But with the state of music where it is are there any new bands out there that are not necessarily up and coming, but new bands out there that make you feel like, okay, new music's going to be okay because look at that. What's that band for you, Spence?
I've mentioned them a couple of times just in passing. The new Led Zeppelin is Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they intentionally set out to do that, but I just think they are. There's another guy too, Matteo.
Now he's instrumental though, right? And Matteo is everybody's new favorite guitar player.
So he's a musician's band.
He's the guy's nuts
Yeah.
as far as his level of talent.
Yeah.
I mean, he's changed everybody. Satriani, everybody's like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's like off the charts. I don't know. I think he's like 22 years old or something like that.
Yeah.
So those two bands have been on my radar because I like rock
Yeah.
pretty heavily. You know something I just like the new blues players that are coming.
Yeah.
I think that's a genre that people thought was gonna pass away. Gary Clark Jr. is a monster of a player.
Yeah.
You and I went out to see
Marcus King.
Marcus King.
Yeah, that kid's.
And then Kingfish.
Yeah, I was gonna say Kingfish.
I mean, so I'm really hopeful about the direction of where music is going and where it can go,
Mm-hmm.
because there are guys that are, I mean, way my junior.
Yeah.
That are bringing up some of the old stuff, but in a new way.
Yeah.
A new flow, and new skill.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier about the drummers, and you were talking about Billy Cobham, and the first thought that came to my mind is this guy that he
Billy who?
Billy Cobham?
Cobham.
Cobham. Billy Cobham. My apologies.
Just straight, hey man.
Billy.
It's all good.
But my mind immediately went to this guy will send me a reel on Instagram or Facebook almost daily of this drummer out of Siberia. Is it Siberia? The guy that does the blast beats with one hand.
Oh yeah.
And he's drinking coffee.
Yeah. Ellison Esteban or something like that.
Esteban, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So there's this guy in Siberia, literally,
Yeah.
that's does
He is literally the best drummer on the planet,
right, and so
technically.
and so the transformation from a guy like a Cobham,
Cobham.
Cobham,
It's not corn on the cob.
corn on the cob.
Or maybe it is. I don't know.
That would have been a great album title for him.
Yeah.
But like the technicality of drumming from that to that, and then like guitar players from Disraeli Gears to Animals as Leaders. That's the thing. Those are the things to me that go, okay, music it's going to be okay. It might get so technical that it may have to revert back to being, I don't know. Maybe people are just getting used to more technical music, but
so looking at these analogies between even guitar players and drummers, right? So you look at Cobham, and then you look at this guy from what was it, Serbia?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's got all the stuff going on, but can he ride the pocket?
Yes, actually, I asked the same question, and he turns out he's in a band, and it goes along with his style. He's a blast beater kind of guy.
Right.
His little snippets that he does, like he's double bassing so fast.
Right.
And doing sounds like triple stroke rolls with one hand. Just double and smoking a cigarette and drinking his coffee while he's playing.
Yeah.
And choking cymbal. He's just wicked fast. Yeah. He's just got it.
But yeah, can he play pocket? Could he play blues?
I don't think he probably could. Yeah. He's probably too high strung.
And that's what I'm saying. And when I look at drummers, even guitar players, Mateo's great. He's a great jazz fusion player. I think he's like the next Alan Holdsworth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he is. He's Alan Holdsworth. To be honest with you, the guy was a monster. I've got two of his guitars.
Mm.
Monster player. Really defined tone. And then you look at guys like this guy from Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
He's got stuff. It's like, okay, great. You're fast. Can you lock down a pocket, and can you use it when you need it?
Yeah.
And the same thing with guitar playing. You can shred your guts out. If you can't hold down a chorus and a transition, I don't care how fast you are.
Yeah.
Or how technically astute you are. If you can't make that transition, to me, it's like, okay.
Well, I think this guy's just showcasing his abilities in these little snippets. He probably can hold down a pocket, but he does definitely overplay like hell on these snippets.
That's the point.
Yeah, it's the point.
Yeah.
And, people are calling him out all the time saying that you're speeding the video up, and, he holds an iPad.
When Joe Bonamassa overplays, he's more tasteful than most of the shredders I've heard on the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's my point.
Yeah. Well, my wife watches these videos of this guy, and she's impressed. So he's definitely tasteful, because she knows when she's listening to a shit drummer, she hears me play all the time. But
right.
Sorry. No, the guy, I think he's probably a killer drummer and can slow it down. But we're all high strung, so
that
could be right.
That would be like asking, can Yngwie play, a slow 1-4-5?
He can,
but playing rhythm and everything. No, he's just going to shred on top of it. Now, you know who could shred?
Yin Yang guitar string.
Yin Yang guitar string. Who could shred and play blues with the ferocity of an '80s rocker? Was Gary Moore.
Oh, hell yeah!
That guy's really mixed the two. Yeah, he mixed the two kind of genres about as good as anybody I've ever heard.
His live stuff, and so I would compare Bonamassa and Moore.
Yeah.
In the same breath, because these guys can take the top of your head off and bring it down and almost make you weep in the same breath.
Right.
Within the same phrase, right?
Yeah.
same thing with some drummers. I mean, some drummers are out there, man, and they can just like and take it from a blurring uh, set of circumstances and bring it out to a shuffle in the same phrase,
Yeah.
and never miss
Yep.
the measurement.
That's
Never
crazy.
miss the measurement. And so I'm more impressed with guys like that than you know drummers that are. I mean, they got a ton of licks, and it's like, okay, well, where's your pocket?
Yeah. On that note, one of the last concerts that you and I went to, thank God we did, was Jeff Beck.
Yeah,
And the 22 Jeff Beck 22 tour. His drummer was a lady called Annika
yeah,
Niles. Um, and what I was noticing about her that night was kind of what you're talking about, was really solid pocket when it needed to be pocket. But the drum fills, every drum fill was so clean and precise, and every one of them,
Intent with intent.
yeah, ended on an exclamation point. It's like,
Yeah.
like, um,
That's hard. Blues is not easy
yeah,
to play
Oh, and by
correctly.
the way, she replaced Vinnie Colaiuta.
Oh yeah. Then
Yeah.
she filled some big ass shoes.
yeah,
Exactly, and my point precisely.
yeah,
Vinny, at his peak,
Yeah.
I don't think there were many guys who could stand up to him as
He
far
was
as what he
wicked.
yeah. In
I
that
mean, I mean,
in that style, I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
he wasn't the fastest, but I tell you what, his meter.
yeah,
You put this guy at 110, 115, 120,
yeah,
whatever it was like unleashing a dog.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, Vinny, it's 115, done, ding, and he did it.
yeah,
And so Jeff Beck used him for years.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking like over a decade.
yeah. Well, I would have to say my personal opinion, my best Caliuta, Jeff Beck, and I believe Tal was on bass on this.
She's awesome.
Was the live at Ronnie Scott's
Yep.
show. If you haven't seen it, take
Yeah.
90 minutes out of your
Yeah,
life
man.
and watch that.
Yeah.
Watch a stadium band play in a nightclub and do it right. You know, it was
And did you see who was in the audience?
yeah, it was Robert Plant.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that unreal.
Everybody showed up to watch this thing happen. And
Yeah.
and you're right. And Vinny put on a clinic.
Yeah.
Cal Welkenfeld, an amazing bass player.
Yeah.
You know, all 5 feet of her, whatever.
I know, right?
Who's that?
Tal.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. Golly. Talk
plays
about
jazz
somebody with
bass.
groove built in her.
Her jazz bass is almost as tall as she is. So.
Yeah. She plays it real high too, doesn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. An amazing bass player.
Oh, she's
They
amazing.
did as we ended as lovers, I guess.
Yep.
And she did a solo that's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
mind-blowing.
So
And she looks like she's 15.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might have actually been. It was recorded. It looks like in 2007 and 2008 November. It seems like that set might have been before that kind of famous Eric Clapton Crossroads set that they did.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's kind of where the world really saw Tal and was like, "What in the world is going on with that girl?"
No. And to Jeff Beck's credit, you know, I don't know what was really going on with him at the time. He brought in so many women musicians and elevated them.
Yeah.
I'd never seen anything like it. I mean, he was
Seemed to prefer him.
yes.
Yeah, like Rhonda. I'm not sure, was it Scott or the bass player? She used to be with Prince.
Yeah.
Was with him on that last couple of tours. She was with him
Yeah.
on Loud. We went and saw Loud Haler down at Chastain Park.
Yep.
Together that time, and
And I was actually hoping to see Tell there, but that was after the Tell era. But
yeah,
Where did she move on to?
well, Rhonda, I'll look it up, but Rhonda played with Prince and ended up, playing with Jeff Beck. Now, those polar opposites of her, I'm sure, coming into a rehearsal and being like, all right, I'm sure she was challenged in different ways. Obviously, she could throw down the funk and hold pocket, but you get in a Jeff Beck thing, there's some different stuff going on there. I'm sure it was challenging to
Yeah,
her.
it's Frank Zappa of that style of music.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna
Yeah. So
look her up here.
Come on,
yeah,
Jamie.
some of this stuff, um, like the early Jeff Beck group stuff. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Yeah, Jan Hammer stuff, and it's Rhonda Smith. Rhonda Smith was the bass player in the last couple tours that he did, and like I said, she played with Prince. You play with Prince, I think you're getting an education that is a priceless musical education.
Yep.
And I'm sure
he was one of the greatest guitar players that ever walked the planet.
And bass player. I've seen him play bass. I'm like,
he's a bad mofo.
Yeah.
Was.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Was.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? When they did the George Harrison tribute.
Oh yeah. He schooled all of them.
Apes.
Yeah.
And all these guitar players, all these gunslingers are out there.
Yeah. Is that when he threw his guitar up in the air and it disappeared?
Yeah, it never came down.
Yeah. He walked out there and shredded them all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you can tell by the expressions on their faces.
Yeah.
I don't think they took him seriously yet.
Yeah.
It's like, it's Prince. He does his little squeal and, writes great music.
Yeah.
And when he came out and played that song, I mean, Clapton was like, "What the heck is going on?" I mean,
Yeah.
And you could see it on their face. I thought it was pretty amazing.
Well, if you didn't know, if you didn't think Prince could play, and you heard the outro after the band stops on "Let's Go Crazy,"
Oh yeah,
that outro on that song was so bombastic, and you could I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. I literally am.
My high school band won the talent show playing that song.
Well,
I had a good guitar player.
You didn't play it like that.
Yeah,
I can tell you that much.
Hey.
You can think. You hear that outro, and I've been in First Avenue and in the clubs in Minneapolis in the late '80s, early '90s, and you can just picture him doing that in a club and just melting people's faces off. As the encore or the end of the night, and then just walking off the stage, and you never see him again that night. Unbelievable.
Done.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, listen, Spence, let's land this plane here. Where can people go to find the FLH project band and see what's going on with you guys?
Well, I mean, we're on Facebook.
Okay.
And it's the FLH band.
Okay.
THEFLH band. And we're on Facebook. You can look us up. Find us where we're playing. Our drummer, if anybody doesn't know, lost his wife. She passed away.
It's been a tough couple of years.
And so we're taking some time off.
Yep.
Look for us this fall.
Yep.
We'll be back at it and doing what we do.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, as far as that goes, we would love to have you guys, Power Trio, come in here and plug into this stuff here, and on your first get together back, and film it for posterity.
Yes, it is posterity.
Don't hurt yourself.
Posterity. I mean, these words are hurting me.
Cobham, Billy Cobham.
It's not corn on the cob.
Neil Peart.
Yeah. Pasty.
Yeah, pasty. His pasties go on your nipples.
Yes, they do. Yours more than mine.
Yeah, I'm wearing them right now. It's cold in here.
I still say pasties.
It's okay. It doesn't matter.
I don't say pasties.
You can say whatever you want.
Hey,
Maybe I'm thinking that, well, never mind. Anyway.
But you guys have an open invite to come over and jam here at, when anytime when you guys feel ready. And then I'm going to see you on Monday. And so
Yes.
you can see the place, and we'll make some noise in here. And maybe Rick will come by and we'll throw down.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And if you have a jazz bass, I'll play that too.
I do.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah, right over there. But yeah, I appreciate you coming on short notice and chatting with us. And as always, keep the music going.
Yeah, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, and we'll catch you on the next time around.
Hey, thank you so much, guys, for having me, and I truly appreciate it. I'm sure I've got a mouthful of stuff if you want to invite me back.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll call you next week. We may have a spot open. Anyway, all right. We'll catch you on the next episode, and until then, we'll see you.
Take care, Spence.
See you. Bud.
You're watching the Original Music Podcast with your hosts Raymond Hems and Rick Gathman.